person. He's almost like a joke, like a mad scientist, because he loves product and he loves to learn about things in our industry. And then he gets very passionate about things and he wants to share that as well. Behind you, I probably jump all over the place, but this GFR is Good Form Running, and we do classes in the store, and we've been doing that for 8 years. You probably saw the banner out front when you walked in, and we've coined May Good Form Month. It's that time of the year when people start to get outside and start moving, and it's important that people move properly so that they can continue to move. And what we want is to have healthy runners in this community. It doesn't do us any good to get people ready for a race, have a good race, and then have bad legs or knees or backs. And so that education and nurturing of a healthy body is something that's really, really important. And Kurt and Judy both, they've always been very giving in the community, and then that attracts really good people. I mean, we've been super fortunate in terms of the people that have worked at the store over the years, and certainly with the university of 50,000 people a mile down the road, that helps. But Tom can tell you, Tom really wears the human resources role, and we rarely, in all the years I've been part of the business, have had to put an ad out to ask, seeking employment or to fill positions. I mean, we have people that just come to us and we're like, wow, that's a really good person. How can we fit them into the organization? And the other thing that we're just so fortunate about is people will come into this community with a spouse. So that it might be one's at school or one's, whether it's lost, whatever it is, and then the other spouse or significant other comes along, and they're looking for a place to be, and they end up, having this interest in fitness and running and product, and because it's really not about the retail so much as it's about just being part of something really positive. And we've landed some incredible people that a gentleman that was an Olympian that helped with this Good Form Running to help establish that Good Form Running and build it up. But I think it's just deeply rooted. And the vendors we do business with too, we try to partner with the Patagonias and the Totem companies, and these vendors that give money back. And you guys are probably aware of the fisheries and wildlife. Yeah, because you're probably out there and you need the right kind of gear. But Patagonia has, and there's organizations, One for the Planet, where 1% of all sales go back into the community. And without jumping too far ahead, you've probably done a little research. We've established a foundation as well to carry on kind of the vision of Kurt and Judy.
I think you did a good job. I think when Brian, John, and I took over the business, we were Kurt's management team for a long time, so we did a lot. But you kind of remove the head of this, and it's like, okay, who are we now, and what are we about? And it was really nice for us to look back and say, where are we at? How did Playmakers get to where it is? What are the key things? And is that what we want to be a part of? And I think we went right back to what Kurt and Judy started with. So we call it the 3 pillars of our business. And one is to be a great place to work and shop. So we want customers to have an exceptional experience. We want our staff to leave or maybe stay until they retire, which Karen did last week. Or if they go on to something else that they look back and say, this was my favorite job, I just absolutely love being here. So a great place to work and shop, a great partner in the community, and the third thing is a sustainable business. So if you are not a successful business, you can't create a great place to work and shop, and you're not able to be a great community partner. So it was important for us to run a healthy business as well. So that's kind of our 3 platform, and when we do a staff meeting every year now that we go over our initiatives and what we're doing. We use that as our structure that we go through.
I know we have some more questions specifically on philosophy, and I think that'll be a really interesting conversation. But I think what we wanted to kind of tailor into a little bit more is just your guys' personal backgrounds and kind of how you intentionally, I'm assuming you're intentionally making decisions on becoming better leaders and growing in those areas.
Yeah, so we go to. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, kind of handing off to me, it'll be kind of helping you please.
So, you talked a lot about Kurt and Judy. Would you say that those are, for mentors, is that someone that you say that you looked up to, your role, their roles, their ideas? Is that someone you would say would be a mentor that got you here to where you are?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I would consider Kurt and Judy maybe two of my biggest mentors, but not the only ones that shape kind of where we're at and who we are today. I think there's a lot of people along the way too. But if you ask, give me a short list, Kurt and Judy absolutely would be on it.
And those values again were those that one, the community, great place to work, and for people to retire here. And I think what was that third one? A sustainable business. Okay. And then so what goals as a leader do you have for yourself, for your staff?
So to simplify, I mean, sometimes we joke, we look at each other, and it's like, okay, we've got to be sure we don't screw this up, because it's a really good thing. And then when you get into the details of it, it's like we're almost paranoid about doing the right things and continuing to evaluate the business and turn the business inside out. So we never want to rest on what we did yesterday. We're constantly looking at how technology can improve the business, how the customer experience, and the waterfall. I'm kind of maybe the reasonable one is like, we'd literally go to these trade shows and we'd be in Las Vegas and Kurt would be taking us through all these casinos like, I like this, and this is pretty cool. It's like they're printing money here. And you'd just be like, don't worry about it, we'll figure this out. But we've created this environment that is really, really cool and people want to be part of it. And if you don't give people a really good experience today, you all have your phones there. I mean, it's just so easy to pick up the phone and order something, and it's not a great experience, but it might satisfy the want or the need at that time. And so, I think we want to. That's one of our biggest initiatives this year is to improve the customer experience, and we've got a fit process that we're putting everybody through, so that we're not just like, oh yeah, there's shoes upstairs and go help yourself. I mean, we're really, really working hard, and we've got treadmills and different technology to use to help analyze people's gait and provide that education. And then with our buyers and bringing all this product into the store, how can we do that more efficiently? And then we'll continue to search our partnerships and be involved in the community with events. And right now, that it was just announced this week that participation in running events last year was down 90%. Now it has just gone like a hockey stick. The growth has been ridiculous. As probably some of you have been, whether it's a Race for the Cure or a color run or a mud run or a bigger event like Grand Rapids this weekend is the big riverbank run. Detroit has their marathons and Chicago has their marathons. But we feel that we can continue to grow because we really understand it, and people have jumped on the bandwagon and they want to sell this product, but they don't really understand it. I think that's probably where we provide the most value, is just on the education side, and sharing our expertise, and then standing behind that product and putting people in the right products.
I think when you were talking about how do we want to lead, I think Brian, John, and I really work hard and are conscious about leading ethically and leading thoughtfully. And I think when I first think of it that way, it's like, oh, okay, so you guys are kind of a soft organization. It's like, I don't think that's the case. I think we make tough decisions all the time. But to take the time to step back and to really think this thing through, not only from our perspective, but from a vendor's perspective, a customer or a staff member, and try to really think through and sweat the details about what is the right thing for us to do. Do we feel like we're all together on this and then to move forward? I think we really try hard to do that, where there's a lot of things, it's like, let's not waste time, let's just do this, and we're like, no, how's this thing going to play out, and what's the right thing to do? I mean, that's the first thing that you said, and I agree totally.
Yeah, then I would say the next note on this, and Tom's probably done the best job of this, is we're trying to identify the future leaders within our organization and give them the skills that they need to align with the direction that we're going. And even though we bought into the business in 2008 and have evolved into this position, we're already thinking, and Kurt was really good about this, because there were discussions for years and years before it actually happened. It's like, okay, who is that next group of leaders, and what can we do to start enticing them to stay, and then also getting the business as healthy as possible so that they they can take over the business and it can continue for years and years. And we've got some incredible people right now. We've had continued growth and success in this space, but it's really a reflection of the teamwork and individuals that take this very seriously and want to be part of something bigger and greater than a corporate organization, a corporate culture, a traditional corporate culture. And then these millennials as well are it's just a different mindset in terms of being part of something positive. It really lines up really well for what is important to us. So I think we're positioned well to continue to grow.
It seemed a little crazy. We had just transitioned, maybe we were 2 or 3 years in, right? So it's all pretty new, and we start going, well, what is our transition plan now? What is our exit strategy? Because we've seen a number of similar stores like us throughout the country where they didn't have a transition strategy, so they've sold out to other companies, and really what they built and what they were about just changed because they didn't really have a plan. So what we want to do is hand the baton off, and the 3 pillars that we talked about continue and have somebody else be able to carry that on. But it just doesn't happen when you go, okay, I think now I'm ready. What are we going to do? It takes a lot of time to kind of build that up. So as Brian said, we identify people that we think fit what we're looking for, and then we just try to spend a lot of time with them. We share a lot of experiences and what's happening, and get their feedback and share ours, and just kind of bringing them along the journey I think will bring. And that's a lot of the way I think we came along too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we didn't always see eye to eye with what Kurt had in mind for the business or where he was leading the business, but now it's like you step back and it's like, oh yeah, now we're kind of trading places with this younger group sometimes when they're not aligning as quickly as we'd like. We're like, okay. And it really is a process. Nothing happens overnight. And I think that's the success of the business. All these little seeds that you plant. Really a successful business is an accumulation of hundreds of little things that are done well. And it's hard to